Yo guys, welcome back. Today I wanted to share this updated Purge setup involving Enzo and Serena. This will also work as a great setup for Serena to solo any Purge stage with just a change of 2 components. We are also using this as a way to get a correct and efficient ammo bot Enzo build out to everyone. And I will say I did take the Enzo build in public queue. This build still works great, even with a weaker team, so don't be afraid to public queue with it. I will make suggestions throughout the video about different situations because I realize when public queuing, you may not always match with an Enzo, and vice versa, Enzo may not always match with Serena. If you're interested in seeing builds like this put together live, just looking to farm and grind with the community, or have any questions about builds, we are live every day on Twitch. I encourage everyone to come hang out. The community is great. Link is in the description. With that out of the way, let's get into it. So first up, we will start with Serena, going over her modules. We are using him. Him is great. Makes you move fast, makes your team move faster. Enzo's also going to give us a way to make us move faster. Even though there is a bit of a delay compared to not using him with readying your weapon, I suggest that you use this. Don't see why you wouldn't. Now, as far as our mods, we're going to use MP Collector, maximize conservation. This is going to keep us in the air. You do want to be in the air with this build at all times. We're also using multi-talented. The only thing you have to worry about here with multi-talented is at the start, when you use your wings, you will not proc the cooldown attribute here. You will want to wait until you see that buff off the screen, then use your 4, and from then on out, you're only using your 3 and your 4, which are going to proc the cooldown for you. Nothing else to worry about. Then we do have MP Conversion and Nimble Fingers. Multi-talented is basically so we do not have to run 2 focus mods here, which is going to allow us to run 2 HP mods. And then we have Maximize Range for our 4th ability. This is an AoE damaging effect. Many people do not know that. That is why we run the range. And then we have the 2 duration mods for the ability to keep our 4 up as long as we can. Now, moving on to the reactor, you're going to run cooldown and duration up. This, once again, is to be able to loop your 4. You do not need to worry about mounting here. You do not need to worry about skill power. We are not actually doing any skill power with this build. We are doing skill power, but with our HP, with our 4th ability. Now, as far as the set, if you have an Enzo, you will want a 2-piece Ascending with 2-piece Shell Crusher. If you do not have an Enzo, you will want a 4-piece Ascending set. As you will see in the video I have on screen, you can go in with either way and then swap when you get in. You have plenty of time in the circle before the round starts to be able to do that. And of course, on your components, you want to make sure you have your HP cores and your max HP. And then for the rest, again, with your HP cores, and then your MP stats here are going to be your most important. Now, for our Arche tuning, we are using defense neutralization for our mutant cell. We are building into multi-hit for mostly our restored relic. We will be using a dagger for the mobbing part that I have set up as a just in case you can't get ammo with the relic. But majority of the time I've run this with an Enzo, without an Enzo, public queue, solo. You could pretty much use the relic the whole time. That's kind of just an oh shit button. Now for your inversion reinforcement, these are the 3 that you want. You do not want to change these ever. Strike point amplification, chill focus rounds, and aerial maneuvering rating. If you are using Serena, you're using these 3 inversion selection. So let's get into our weapons, and the relic here is the star of the show. You want triple fire rate, double chill, multi-hit damage, multi-hit chance, explosive attack, and chill attack. And as far as our setup, we are using action and reaction with charge amplification and rifling reinforcement for our firearm attack. We are then using 2 radius mods with increased radius and ammo optimization, which is going to give us even more explosion radius. I would not take either of these off. It is great to have the radius, no matter what stage of Purge it is. Then we have our fire rate up, of course, our expand high power magazine. This is very, very necessary for keeping your ammo, and our chill enhancement. Now we will go over our 2 last daggers, being first our Relic Last Dagger, or our boss killing last dagger here. We're going to go double firearm attack, double fire rate with chill attack, firearm attack, weak point damage, firearm critical hit rate, and firearm critical hit damage for our substats. And then we have our Greg loadout, which is going to be with Fire and Fiesta. I have chosen to go back to Overwhelm. I was using Tenacious Hunter, but it's very, very dependent on headshots, getting the weak point, and I just find it more consistent, less try-hardy to just use Overwhelm. You pretty much get the same result, in my opinion, We have our double weak point mods, our double critical hit damage mods, and then our double chill mods, with of course fire rate and action and reaction. Now let's go over our mob killing last dagger. Probably won't need it, but I think it's good to just go over this as a just in case. I carry it with me when I am running. We have our chill attack, our 2 firearm attacks, our fire rate, and then our rounds per magazine on our cores. And then our substats, you have firearm critical hit rate, critical hit damage, multi-hit damage, and multi-hit chance. Now, as far as our setup, I have dropped Firing Fiesta here and just replace it with Rifling Reinforcement. You really do not need the Firing Fiesta for the mobbing anymore. The gun hits for so hard. We have also replaced our weak point mods with this setup with multi-hit mods, so multi-trigger, and multi-piercing trigger. And of course, we're still using our 2 firearm critical hit damage mods, our 2 chill mods, fire rate up, action and reaction, and then I'm sticking with overwhelm. So something that is probably not well known anymore, but was a thing when Clay and Enzo were a combo in Purge, is the way the turret will last on Serena or Clay longer than it would last for Enzo, even when running the same amount of duration. And since the turret cannot be refreshed, this is a problem. So what we have done is match the cooldown of the turret to the duration that will last for Serena and not for Enzo. This is very important for this setup, as your main goal over everything is to supply our queen Dami Mommy Serena with rockets. So with this setup, you never have to worry about checking her turret. It is guaranteed. Timing will always be right. Now, let's talk about our Enzo setup, starting with our modules. We are going to use supply tactical armor. A big thing here is going to be the tactical armor that he grants to allies, reducing their incoming damage. Maybe not so important here, but increasing their movement speed, making Serena even faster. And this does affect your in-flight speed, and it of course affects Enzo's speed, and you're going to need it to keep up with the Serenas in the first place. Now, the 2 of his skills that we're really focusing on using here, the first and most important is going to be the turret. And we, of course, already went over how that's going to work in keeping it on Serena. You just cast it off cooldown. With this setup, you have nothing to worry about. But not only does it provide ammo, but this also provides firearm attack and a firearm critical hit rate increase and a reload time modifier, which doesn't affect Serena, but does help you with your Enzo. And the second ability that you want to be using is going to be his first. This is going to supply ammo. This is also going to give reload time modifier. Now, Serena is not going to be able to really get to this, but if you're playing with a weaker group, this is going to be great for you to use to deal out some damage and reload your relic. So, like I said, we are using supply tactical armor. We are now running 2 range mods. The reason here is this goes up to 300% max expandable range, which is going to get it to 70 meters total. This is kind of just a fail safe. You really do not have to run these, but some of these new 30 maps, stage 10 maps, are really big. So having this on is definitely not going to hurt. Then we have our 1 duration mod with Battle of Stamina, giving us a little more duration. We have our 2 cooldown mods with MP Conversion, Nimble Fingers. We have Skill Extension to go with our other duration mods. Maximize Conservation, not a must, but why not have it on? There's really not too much I would also put here. And then we have our increased HP mod with Heat Release. So not only are you an ammo bot, you deal decent damage, you buff Serena, but you're pretty close to being invincible here. You're not going to die with this build at all. Now, for your reactor, we are not worried about skill power. We do not care about our mounting. We do not care about our skill power boost ratio. We want the cooldown and the duration up to get our 4th ability on the right track. And then for our set, we're running 2-piece Firebrand with 2-piece Hunter for the cooldown, the Firebrands for the duration. And of course, once again, make sure you have your max HP cores on all these pieces for the survivability, and then your MP stats on your other pieces. Now, moving on to his Arche tuning, we have built a bit to multi-hit, but we wanted to make sure we made ourselves all the way over here to the right so we can get defense neutralization. Even though Serena's probably already running this with a couple other characters, doesn't hurt, and the turret can proc it on enemies, so very nice to have. Not only you're supplying ammo, but you're also supplying a bit of a debuff. Like I said, we did build in multi-hit for the Relic, and there is some more multi-hit and an inversion we could take advantage of. So for the inversion, we are running the same thing as Serena with Strike Point Amp, Chill Focus rounds, and yes, we're going to run Aerial Maneuvering Radar. The reason why is because on some of these very large open maps for the new 10 stages, you can simply just mid-air grapple all the way up and proc this with your Relic, get all 13 shots of your Relic out with this proc, land again, reload, repeat, and it works pretty well. So let's get into our weapons, and we will start with Clairvoyance. One thing I do suggest here is the triple sprint speed cores. As far as building it, it's not very necessary. The main thing we're looking for here is the unique ability for shooting the boss, and it's going to be the negative 40% chill resistance. Very big when everybody's blasting the boss with Last Dagger. So like I said, don't really have to build it. I do have mine built. Analysis Master is very nice to have in. Super cool plasma as well, and then Brisk Walk. Other than that, you might want to focus on the magazine mods and their reload. You're not really worried about doing too much damage with this. Now we have our relic, and it's going to be exactly what I ran with Serena. No point to change it. Just keep it how it is. Don't waste your materials. Boom, boom, boom. We're cooking. And then we have our Last Dagger. Same thing. The Relic Last Dagger, going to be the same exact setup. And that covers everything for Serena and Enzo, the new power couple. Sorry, Nell. Any questions or suggestions about the builds, let me know in the comments. Like and subscribe is appreciated. Thanks, guys. Peace.